Hi guys, this is Patrick from Goat Luxury Watches in Germany, and today I welcome you to one of the formats that our German viewers on our German channel love the most. It's called What Do Luxury Watches Really Sell For? And in this format, we as a luxury watch dealer give you insights into the real selling prices of luxury watches. And as we do a really broad portfolio of watches and we have a good variety of brands, of different price ranges, of modern and vintage watches, I think it's really interesting for you as a watch enthusiast to really get an insight into the market and also to check if the prices the watches are online for are really the prices that should be paid for you to acquire a watch. I will of course take my smartphone with me because I have all the data there and I want to give you a full insight. So don't be mad at me for looking at my smartphone. I will also try to keep my eye contact and we will show you a lot of nice pictures during the video also of the watches sold, because there's one very important thing. Prices are different depending on the condition of the watch. Not only the outer condition of the bracelet, of the clasp, of the case, but also regarding the dial, regarding the year it was constructed, regarding the warranty, if it's still valid or not, how long it is valid, and also market change in this business on a weekly basis, almost on a daily basis. So this is really the insight into the watches we sold the last 4 weeks, and you always have to keep in mind that, for example, a watch from 2024, a Rolex from 2024 with full warranty is worth more than a Rolex from 2017 if the reference was built, this long. And also that a watch that is new is worth more than a watch that is used and in very good condition. So I will just give you numbers that we sold the watches for. We will give you the images, we will give you the references, and I want to know from you in the comments if you like this format. Our German viewers love it, so I also hope that our English viewers will like it. And if you drop a comment, it motivates us to bring this format on a regular basis and to give you insights into the watches we sold and the prices we sold them for. We start with a watch that you all may know, and a watch that was decreasing in price the last month and now seems to be like really stable. The Rolex GMT Master 2 Sprite with the reference number 126720 BTNR. Here you have to pay attention to the configuration. This watch exists with the Jubilee bracelet and with the Oyster bracelet, and those watches also trade on a different level. We sold one on the Oyster bracelet in a very good condition, full set, box papers, and it was sold for 16,000 euros in the end, which seems like a very stable price right now in the market, because the watches before we also sold in this price range, and which also seems like a very reasonable price for the GMT Master, because there are not too many numbers produced of this watch, because the production run up to now is really short, and a lot of people like the idea that Rolex is doing something different and they just released a lefty watch. Also, the price decreased on this watch. And why is this, from my opinion? I think that a lot of people fell in love with the idea to wear a lefty, and they said, okay, it's something special, it's something, that is not common, it's something that is really fitting into my collection. But what we heard from clients, a lot of people wearing the lefty watch had a problem, the crown being on the other side, because it's harder to operate. It's also, the feeling on the wrist is a bit uncommon, and this is why a lot of people sold it again after wearing it for some time and making this experience. Moreover, as the production run is still going on and they are still delivered at the ADs, there are more on the market. So the hype and the people that really wanted the watch and were ready to pay a higher price for this watch, and it was trading above 20k, it was trading around 30k, then fell to 22k, and now we are at 16k, which seems, like I already told, very reasonable. It's like the people that wanted buy it at this price point, but the people that really bought it for inflated prices because they wanted to have it fast, they wanted to go on the hype, or they also speculated to make some profit when buying and selling it, they are out of the market now. Now it's really a market for people who want to acquire the Sprite, and this is also why I think the price of 16,000 euros roundabout is a really fair price. for this watch. As we do not only do Rolex and really common sports models, we also do some exotic watches, because this is my personal passion and I'm not into the hype markets or anything. I'm into the passion for watches, and we have a lot of clients and collectors from around the world that are also into it. You can see it with the example of the Chopard L.U.C 1860, the reference 168860. It is one of the nicest dress watches I've ever seen, with the salmon dial, and this watch sold to a client from the US, which is really nice because we also export watches, and there's really a watch lover who wanted to acquire this watch. We sold it in euros, of course, and we sold this watch for 22,500 euros to the US. The buyer has to pay import taxes, of course, which will bring the watch to around, let's say, 25k, I would say, which is around the list price of this watch. And this is also reasonable at the moment, because for the 1860 there's a waiting list and it's really hard to acquire. There's a lot of craftsmanship into this watch. There's the Geneva seal, there's the dial they do in a really high level. There are not many pieces produced, and also not many pieces allocated to the different ADs and also the markets. So if you want to have the watch now, you are kind of dependent on the grey market if you don't want to wait for some time and you want to know when you get the watch. And so people are really ready to buy it for around list price on the secondary market, which shows that there are watch lovers out there wanting the watch, also recognizing the craftsmanship in this watch, because normally Chopard is a brand where most of the watches trade below list price or half list price, or that are even sold by the IDs with a discount. The 1860 does not count to these watches. I would say it's really a flagship model of Chopard, which they presented there, and so a price of 22,500 euros is really reasonable from my point of view. It's not cheap because it's a steel watch for a really niche customer, but those niche customers that are looking for a special watch, they will go for the L.U.C 1860 for sure, because the tradition, the history and the watch itself is just something that is really fascinating for somebody who loves watches and who is into dress watches. We continue with a watch that is really common and that we sell a lot, the Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch Sapphire. So the reference that is still in production, still produced, ending with the 002 in the reference, not the 001, because the 002 is the one with sapphire. And we are selling this watch for around 6,000 euro, always depending on the condition. The one we sold like 2 days ago sold for 6,000, which is really nice. Was sold to a German client. Of course, these are not watches you export on a normal basis because they are available everywhere. They are below list, and it's really a mass product, I would say. There are a lot of watches out there, and if you want one, you don't have to take the effort to order it in Germany and import it into your country. But of course, we don't only sell it within Germany, we also sell to the Netherlands, to France, to Belgium, to Italy, within the European Union, because for us it really doesn't matter. Normally, if you order on our website or you contact us, shipping is always on us, and we don't really care where we ship. And within the European Union, of course, there are no import taxes or any additional costs, so it's an all-in price. So I would say the 6,000 euros our client paid for this watch is really nice, as this was 2022 German delivered, which is worth more to some German clients, and the condition was really like new. We sold it as very good, but it was really like new if we are honest to ourselves. But for us, it's always better to under promise and over deliver, because if you see the watch on the images and you say, okay, I like the condition, our goal is that when you receive it and you have it on your wrist, you will love it. Because the other way around, would be a bit stupid, because you have to send back the watch, we have to refund the money, which is just not nice for us. So for us, it's always under promise, over deliver. We are doing really good in the German market with it, also with our international clients. And this is also why I think the clients like to buy at our shop, because we don't sell something we don't have, we don't promise something we cannot promise. In the best case, you see everything you have to see before acquiring a new watch. And then when you receive the watch, you will probably see that our close-up shots and macro shots are really sharp, sometimes even sharper than the human eye, I would say. And therefore, if you like the pictures, you will like the watch. From Omega, we go to Tudor, a watch that is really liked by the Tudor community and that is also traded on a regular level. We are talking about the Tudor Black Bay Chronograph Panda with the reference 79360N. with the white dial. So the Panda is always white dial and the black subdials. We sold this watch, and this is what is really crazy for me right now, for 3,400 euros. We were selling this watch in the past year like always around the 4,000, 4,200 euro range, but now prices, you know, seem to have dropped a bit, and we sold it for 3,400 euros, which is quite okay, I would say, and a really fair price for the watch. But I expect the watch to go back up to 3,600, 3,700 euros. It's a nice watch. It's a good daily watch. You have the chronograph. The only negative point is that it's a bit thick. So if you have a thin or small wrist, it may be not the watch for you, or this may be, you know, a point that you should really take into consideration. But if you have a wrist bigger than, let's say, 70.5 centimeter in circumference, I would say this is a really, really good chronograph watch. And also with a 3000 XXX range, it's like a no-brainer, because you won't really use money, you also won't win a lot of money. But if you wear it for 2 years and you sell it, you like kind of wore the watch for free, which is nice. And it also like by dealers, so if you want to trade it in for a more expensive watch or another watch, because you said, okay, after 1 or 2 years I'm like kind of bored of this watch, I want to try something else, it's also a watch that dealers really pay a good price for, because they're relatively easy to sell and highly asked in the market. From Tudor we go to the bigger brother, we go back to Rolex. We sold a Yacht Master 40 with the reference 116622. With this reference also the dial is really interesting, because the different dials trade really on another level. Ours had a blue dial, and in the end we sold it to a German client that came locally to our shop for 10,400 euros, which I thought was a bit cheap from our side. I think we would have really been able to get some more money out, but as this client, you know, was buying his 4th watch this year from our shop, Marco, our sales guy, was really soft with him, and they also bought 2 watches at once when they came to the shop. And so the 10,400 euros was a really great deal for our client, I would say. Of course we earn some money, we have to earn money, we are a business, but for 10,400 euros to acquire a Yacht Master 40 with a blue dial is like really a sweet spot to buy. I would also say people out there are ready to pay more. I would say that it goes to the 11-ish K region, what people really pay for this watch. But therefore you see, if you buy commonly from our shop and you go to us and you're just like a uncomplicated person, you always profit also from our service, because of course we like to sell to people we know and to people that come regularly, more than to sell to people you do not know. You don't know if they make the transaction complicated or whatsoever. So 10,400 euros, really sweet price for our client. Congratulations for acquiring this watch, and as this gentleman was a bit older, I know that he will have a lot of fun, because he was really enthusiastic about acquiring another watch and the Yacht Master 40. From there we jump to a vintage watch, a watch that I always tell people is nice to buy if they want to buy a Rolex below 10,000 euros. It's the Daye 63 1803. And we had one in stock on leather strap with a buckley dial. The legendary buckley dial, you all know, there are several videos about it, and it made it to our store. We sold it for 8,800 euros, which is also really nice, because you get a Daye, the president's watch, you have an 18 karat gold case, you have a nice leather strap, and if I remember right, it also had the gold Rolex buckle. I'm not really sure, you will see it in the images that we show you around my face here in the video. You know, not talking about the buckle, 8,800 euros for a Daye in a really great condition with a legendary dial is a really good price for this watch, I would say. It's not a price that I say, okay, we sold it high or we sold it low. It's the price that people basically pay for this watch. This watch is also like not really affected by market developments, not depending if the market goes up or down. It's like an enthusiastic market, and for people that say, I maybe don't want to pay 6,000 euro for a steel Datejust, I pay 8,000, 9,000 euros for a Daye on a leather strap and just enjoy having a really classic watch, a good dresser, and the president's watch. From there we go to a watch that was in stock for a long time, not too long. I would say like 4 months, which is from my opinion too long, and if a watch is too long in stock and you're a dealer, of course you have to sell. So I really feel like we sold this watch really low, also knowing that this reference was sold higher in the past bears, but somehow nobody wanted to buy this watch from us. Maybe all our clients that were interested in the watch were already provided with this Senate, and I'm talking about the Senate Chronomaster Sports Chronograph with the white dial. Some people call it Daytona killer because some people say that it's the better Daytona, it's cheaper, it's a bit more experimental, it's not that boring. Opinions really differ there. What we can say, we sell Daytonas really good. We also say the Zenith Chronomaster normally really good. In this case, we double stocked the watch. The first one went really, really fast, and the second one, was laying in stock for too long. So when this client asked, what's the best price you can do on this watch, we sold it to him for 7,000 euros. And thinking about that, you get a high quality Senate watch with a chronograph, with a nice history and a nice DNA that is, really looking good on almost every wrist. It's really crazy to see you can acquire this watch for 7,000 euros, also taking the list price into consideration, which is 5-digit. So therefore, it's a really good deal for our client. We were happy that we moved the watch. Of course, we take the money and have to buy other watches. This is what we do for a living, so we sometimes also have to sell cheaper if something is in stock for too long. And we were really happy for our client, of course, because he wanted this watch for a long time and said, okay, this is a really nice price and I'm ready to buy it and put the money on the table. The last watch that we sell is a reference that was also discussed in our German videos, because people were a bit confused where these watches sell, and I'm talking about the Rolex Submariner Date Starbucks. And there you have to know there's an MK1 and an MK2 version. So Rolex slightly changed the color of the bezel of this watch. The first color, a bit darker, is the MK1. The second color, a bit lighter green, I would say, is the MK2. And the MK2 trades on a higher level than the MK1. For me personally, I wouldn't really care about it, but the market cares about it. And the MK2 has a shorter production run than the MK1. And it seems like people like the green tone on the MK2 a bit more, I would say. The MK2, we sold 3 of these watches the last month, and we always sold them in the 14,000 region. The last one sold for 14,000 straight. So this is the price people pay for a newer MK2 watch. The MK1 watches would trade like 1,000 euros below, so we see them trading around 13,200 euros. We have also one online right now. I don't know what the asking price on the website is, so let me check. And this is what I was talking about when I told they're trading around 13.2-ish. I was talking about a used one, very good condition, because the MK2 we sold was also in this condition. But what I see here is that we have a MK1 in stock from 2021, which is new, so completely unworn. The price on the website is 13,900 euros. I would say if somebody comes to us and says, okay, what can you do on the price? We would say like 13,700 euros for a new one, because the used ones trade around 400, 500 euros below the new ones. But there are people out there in the market that say, okay, I want to be the first one who is scratching the watch, so to say, and they pay a 400, 500 euro premium for it. Therefore, the 14,000 euros for the MK2 is a really good price, I would say. It's also not too far away from list price, which makes the watch also really interesting. And when we had the MK2s, the 3 pieces in stock, there were so many people and clients asking for it that in the end we sold 3 this month, but we would have been able to sell like 10 for this price point. So the price seems really sweet on the market. The market is really paying this price, which is really nice, and which also makes us happy. The more difficult part right now for us is to acquire those watches for a price where we have some profit on it, because it's not too hard to sell the watch also for somebody owning the watch, and this is what everybody knows and also the market knows. I hope you liked the video, I hope you liked the transparency, and I also hope that you really leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and maybe even leave a comment, because this pushes the channel, helps us grow, and also motivates us to put out more content for our international community. If you're from Germany or if you know the German language, we will see us on Sunday on the German channel. If you're here on the English channel, we really try to aim to bring a video latest every 2 weeks on Wednesday. So if you're an international client, I will see you in 2 weeks, Wednesday, exactly here on this channel. I hope you have a nice evening. I hope you have a nice day. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time.